Just going to walk around the outside now, see what we see. So it's 12th century. There are a lot of alterations. Got a lot of old graves as well, if you have a look. It's a mixture. Got some details about it. As I said, the church is 12th century, especially if you look at the parts of the nave and the chalice, that is. And if you go to the south aisle and the tower, I do believe it was, were added in the 14th century. They were. And I'm just trying to walk around here now, trying to find a particular grave that I can show you. It should be here somewhere. Last time we came it was actually pretty clear, but a lot's happened in the last few years, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find it this time. But it's usually well looked after and it's usually easy to spot. I'm having a bit of trouble finding it today, so let me just have a look around to see what I can find. Oh, looks like we have a wall grave over here that needs attending to. Pete, we found a wall grave you need to take a picture of to attend to. As you can see, this one badly needs doing, so I'm going to put this one up onto the Wall Graves Commission and ask them to clean that. That's sad that's been not taken care of. And it's a rather new one as well. 1996. So that's actually got wall grave and that should be looked after. So I will see if they will look after that. Or take care of it anyway. So I'll continue to look for this grave. Strange because it was right here before. Ah, here it is. Oh, it's a bit of a sorry state this time. Ah, see what you have here? Here, Frederick Charles, his youngest son, killed in active service, 1914. He was only 23. So, let me see what happened. Frederick was killed aboard Borwick, MH Borwick, as it says, on the 26th of November 1914. It was actually an accident while his ship was docked at Sheerness. I think Sheerness is Scotland if I remember rightly, and it was an internal explosion of the ship. It resulted in the death of 736 men, and that included Frederick, who was at the time a leading seaman, and he, as I said, he was age 28. But the story didn't end there. Sadly, 2 years later the family suffered the loss of a second son, Reuben William. As you can see on the grave, his name is there, see? The son who was drowned on the Black Prince in the Battle of Jutland. You see there? May the 31st, 1916. And he was 36, and his rank, what was his rank? Oh, shipwright, second class. And again, as I said, he was lost to them. Very sad, really. My family had the same sort of loss. My great-grandmother, Catherine Ballinger, lost two sons in the Great War, both in 1916. One was in one was in March 1916 and one was in July 1916. He was actually killed towards the end of July on one of the battles of the Somme. So I can actually know what this family must have felt terrible losing two sons. But that wasn't the end of the story. They also lost a daughter, if you see, Maud Julian at the bottom, and she died on the 28th of March 1920. Maybe it was the Spanish flu that came over. We're not sure. We couldn't find any record of her death, but she was only aged 24. And it's a shame because this was actually in a better condition when we first came, but now it seems to be leaning. I hope somebody comes along and looks after that. So there's quite some really old stuff in here if you have a look around. as I said, that grave back there will need looking after. As I said, we got this one here. I'm not quite sure what this was. We never actually worked out what it was, but I think it might be actually an old, I can't think what it was called now. It's one of the crosses they used to preach on, so I do believe it might be that, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But as I said, we've got some really old graves in here if you have a look. We've got the tabletop ones, no longer visible for writing, it's just sort of all mouldy. And this one has got no clue what this one could be. This is at the back end of the church. Lovely building. And these here, these small ones, I'm taking it are the people with low incomes because they only have initials on. Or maybe children, I'm not sure. But I'd say low income, low money sort of graves, and they're quite old as well. You see they've already got, you can see the H here is the H, and there looks maybe another H, I'm not sure. I'd say that's 1856 on that one. It's just a date with an initial. Obviously these have obviously been moved because they're now a hazard, so they're lying down, which you will find a lot in cemeteries like this, graveyards, because they're so old they come at half risk. I think these two would be lying down at some point because these are getting rather old and tippy-tipped. As you can see, there's a lot over here as well. Very old. It's the weather, and depending what the stones are made of. I mean, we found stones from 1700s and they've weathered better than these ones, but unfortunately these are not weathered so well. You don't forget, when you do go to cemeteries or churchyards, don't forget to look on both sides, because they're not always on the same side. And you do find writing on the backs and on the fronts and gravestones, because they don't all face the same way usually. But they should, in theory, face all the same way, but they don't. It depends what the cause of death is, I do believe, in some cases as well, or religion, etc. So always look out for that as well. What we're looking at here, I'd say from the outlay, is a family plot. But because of all the ivy and what has grown over it, I can't actually see anything indicating who is buried here, but it's definitely a family grave because the plot is encased in this stone square, if you can see. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tabletops, maybe top graves, maybe more than one person buried in each, but it's definitely a family plot. But sadly I can't see anything on it. Maybe in the future I'll have to come up and see if we can move some of this off it, and we can have a look underneath and see who's buried here. It'd be interesting to find out. Okay, now usually this church is closed when we visited, but today, September the 1st, 2022, we are having luck and the door is open. So come inside with us. It's a 12th century church, but over the years it's had many alterations. But the smell in here is amazing, really old and atmospheric. It's just kind of not that big inside. Got a beautiful wooden roof. As you can see, it's very small. No stained glass windows. A few more war memorials maybe. Let's go up to the altar and have a look at the altar. They have the organ. Yeah, no stained glass windows, just plain. They do have a beautiful altar. I'll just quickly show you our book. Just leaned lightly against this. See, it's Tales from the Tombstone. It's the first of our books. There is 2 more out. One called Buried Past, Tales from the Cheltenham Cemetery, which is Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, England. It's all about, well, it's not everybody in the cemetery, obviously, it's 2 bigger cemetery to mention everyone in the book, but you can find VC's winners in there and Brian Jones. The more recent book is called Tales from the Tombstone, Misdeeds and Murder, which is all about victims and murderers and where they can be buried, what happened to them, etc. I think we released that one last year. So go on Amazon, you can find them on Kindle, paperback. This one has just been put onto hardback, and Misdeeds is also on hardback, and Buried Past should be available soon when I've sorted out a paperback edition. I'm sorry this video isn't this good, it's just I've never done this sort of thing before. Usually when I video I just turn the camera on and that's it. But Bernie from Station Masters Walkabout has asked if I would try talking. I have tried talking and hopefully I haven't babbled too much. So thank you for watching.